The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by the Weed Porn Daily Stoner Shop. Clothing for cannabis connoisseurs. We've got t-shirts, hoodies. I keep saying like the same shit every time. It's gonna become a nice little like promo. I'll be able to yell out on other podcasts, but it's probably gonna get boring here. But we've got a big sale going on in our shop right now. Free shipping and $5 off. And I think it's like...
And you can stack coupons.
Yeah,
you can. They said that you could.
Well, you know, let me get to it. You're complicating things. Sorry, baby. Right now, there's a special event going on. You get free shipping and $5 off if you use the special link. Go to our website, blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/sale, and you can see all of our sales. Or really, if you just go to our shop, you can see the sales link up top, I think, and you can click there, maybe. But right now, there's also a 7-day event going on where each day there's like a special sale for a particular product. And today is the first day, and it's going to be tote bags. So right now, if you've ever wanted a tote bag from us, full belt print, just like a giant bag of either like Nugs or James Franco's face or things like that, it's $14.80 right now with just the discount from the like single product discount, and then you can get that with the free shipping as well, which is a huge saving. Yeah, really nice bags for like $15. Like that's like, I don't know where you're gonna find deals like that, or like a bag like that for that kind of price. It's pretty crazy. So we've got t-shirts, hoodies, laptop skins, skins, iPod cases, pillows. We've got baby clothes, kids clothing, and tote bags. So make sure to check it out. shop.weedporndaily.com. And I don't think the $5 stacks with the single product, sadly. I tried it. I clicked the link, and because I always try to verify the sales, because I get complaints all the time. You're fucking bullshitting me. This fucking really isn't this cheap. You're lying to us. So I always try to make sure, and it's like $14.80, but it is free shipping. So that saves you $5 on shipping anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could put the $5, I'm sure, like if you added like something to your cart that isn't a bag, it'll take $5 off maybe. I haven't tried that. Yeah. Shop.weedporndaily.com. And make sure to check out our head shop, weedporndaily.com/shop. A little confusing, I know. I'm working on it. But right now, you can go to weedporndaily.com/shop and pick up hemp wicks, Weed Porn Daily stickers, and the exclusive Badass book, ebook and signed softcover. Hemp wick is our biggest product. It's the natural, organic, tastiest way to smoke. If you have a hard time smoking with lighters because the mechanism itself is hard.
Burns your fingers sometimes.
Exactly. If things like this bother you, maybe switching over to the hemp wick might be a good idea. It's very flexible. You have a huge cord, so you can keep the flame very far away from your hands and your face. You're not getting burned. It's nice. And the butane from the lighter, although there are scientific articles claiming that the butane, once it becomes ignited or hits the air, it becomes like a butane oxide or something, and it's non-harmful. When you hit a bowl with the butane lighter, it tastes different. I don't care what people say. If you smoke a bowl with a butane lighter and then you smoke a bowl with hemp wick, it's going to taste massively different. And one is significantly better, and it's always the hemp wick. So if you want to improve your smoking experience, if you have long sessions where you're just constantly using up lighters, losing lighters, shit like that, just set up a little candle, and you can have a giant ball of hemp wick and just pass it between your bros, and that'll last for months. I've literally bought maybe 3 lighters in the past year, and they've just started running out. And I've been using the same 400-foot ball of hemp wick for like 7 months now. it is pretty intense. It's the best way to make your smoking experience more cost-effective, more cost-efficient. WeedPornDaily.com/shop, the most affordable hemp wicks you will find anywhere, I guarantee you. That should really be our selling point. I don't know anywhere else that sells them at these prices. We're also going to start selling in bulk. I'll talk about that later. But for now, WeedPornDaily.com/shop. And, if you want to advertise with us, we are always open for that. WeedPornDaily.com/advertise. We've got very easy packages. You just one click buy, and you can have either an ad in the sidebar and main section of our website, and we also have ads for the podcast as well. So make sure to check that out. WeedPornDaily.com/advertise. All the advertising just helps us pay for the server bills, man. Like hosting the podcast, you look at it sometimes, and each file is over 100 megabytes usually. And then if we have an archive of like at least 30 podcasts, that's already like 3 gigs of space. And then you have to imagine people like to have like the whole back catalog available to listen to, or they'll constantly or like re-download them or stream them or whatever. So the whole back catalog of 3 gigs plus is constantly getting burned for bandwidth. I'm just saying, it's really server heavy. You know, a lot of people they'll just literally go to SoundCloud and they'll get one of the like pro accounts because it's just so expensive to rent a server for podcasts professionally. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So let's get this podcast started, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bowl here of some indica dominant. It's a hybrid. It's not really indica dominant. It's a chemi, foresty, piney. I mean, I said that with the chemi part. Kind of fruity, not really. It's just kind of sweet, you know. Like it's not like musky too much, you know. It's not too much like your basement or your attic. It's more like.
Ew.
Yeah, there's some weeds like that. I literally have one in a jar right now that I can give you that smells like that.
Okay.
Exactly. So, cheers. Hope you got your bowls packed, your hash nails heated, and your edibles hopefully cooled. Don't burn the roof of your mouth, man. It sucks when you have that skin dangling and you're high and you're playing with it all the time. Lighting up with 48-pound exclusive limited edition Weed Porn Daily Hemp Wick XS from last night. Burning pretty good. I like it. We actually switched over to a new type of wax, and I was really scared to use it, and it ended up being like really good. Really good.
Oh, really?
We'll talk about that later, yeah.
Awesome.
Worked
You never
out.
told me the fortune that came from it. If it worked or not. I'm happy to hear.
Welcome to the Weed Porn Daily Podcast. I need a drink of water. Because I'm Grouch, the editor, owner, designer, the asshole behind the ass box of WeedPornDaily.com. If you want to follow us, head over to WeedPornDaily.com or hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Vine, all that jazz, all Weed Porn Daily. Excuse me. And the Instagram is the only one that's different. That one's Ganja Grouch. Yeah. And I'm here with Mrs. Weed Porn Daily.
Mm-hmm.
The better half of Weed Porn Daily.
Not necessarily.
The more level-headed, scheduled side.
Keep going. I mean, you've been doing all the talking. I wasn't even allowed to say my name.
Yeah. Well, I introduced you because I remember one time you were like, "Who am I?" We were just like,
Well, I can at least say my name.
Oh.
Then you can intervene and say, hey, she does all these things. But even then, I wouldn't know what to say either.
or I could introduce you like Brody Stevens.
Please, no.
Just Pete looks really energetic and say my name like 7 times.
No, please never do. I'd be really genuinely, freaked out by that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is Mrs. WeedPornDaily.
Nice to be
The
here.
sexy half of
No,
WeedPornDaily.
I don't think so.
Equally sexy then.
No. Not even. I don't know where you're getting these facts from.
Or you'd be surprised, what is it? The most viewed video on our YouTube is still your rolling video.
But that was because I made the mistake of wearing the wrong type of t-shirt.
Even then, we rewatched the video and there's literally no cleavage showing. It's just like the impression of boobs through the shirt that gets people titillated, I guess.
I think that's really sad, if anything.
If anything, it says something about the audience watching it.
Right, of course.
And judging by the comments, they're all 12-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But they find you attractive. Okay. Somebody does.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess I look young.
Yeah. Well, that's not it. It's just that you are attractive to them. I mean, you're attractive to me. Hey. And I see people look at you all the time when we go out. I'm constantly having to, shoot daggers with my eyes and play, the protective boyfriend.
I don't mind that, though.
I'm sure. Yeah. So we've been waiting to do a podcast for a little while. I forget what.
Well, you had brought it up, and then your friend came over, and then we couldn't finish.
Smoke a couple blunts. You know how it is.
Whatever.
Yeah. And I've been really busy with the hemp wick work.
Yes,
It's
you have.
really, I've just been dedicating huge chunks of my day to making wicks, preparing them for packaging and shipping them out. It's crazy. Staying up to crazy hours.
Right.
So yeah. Let's get into the news, I guess. We can ramble later. Plenty to ramble about. Plenty of news to talk about. There's been a significant amount of positive movements in the cannabis community. Excuse me, I was waiting for that. I swallowed a slight bit of smoke. A lot of legalization efforts that I'd like to get covered because I know you guys like to hear about the positive movements in your community and just in the world. It's good to know that even if you're in a state where it's legal, that other places are getting that kind of freedom. That you're not the only one living with that kind of privilege. So the first one we want to hit on is eager patients cheer the opening of New Jersey's 3rd medical marijuana dispensary in Woodbridge. I'm not actually going to read the article. It's from NJ.com, but it's just good news. It's, just another... New Jersey has been notoriously having a lot of problems with this dispensary system.
Right, yes, I remember.
It's a lot of people have been struggling to get licenses and to get approved and things like that. And
it's just it's legalized for medical use, and nobody knows about it because there's nothing going on. It's all at a red tape standstill.
Well, the guy that owned one of the dispensaries, I remember reading an article, and they opened up with it saying, he is literally swamped in phone calls with people asking, how do I get a medical marijuana card? How do I get medical marijuana? What's going on? Because they look him up and they see that he's, the only dispensary. So people are interested, but it's just, literally, can you imagine having 2 dispensaries in your whole fucking state? What if you're on the edge of the state and you have to travel all the way there to get your medicine? What if you're in, a wheelchair and you're debilitated and you have to take that long trip, or have somebody else take that long trip for you?
Or you don't even have a person to take that long trip.
Exactly.
Or you don't
Can
have
you imagine
a vehicle.
taking a scooter from one side of New Jersey to the other side?
I think if you're debilitated, you probably wouldn't be taking a scooter. Oh, you mean unless it's one of those electric chair
That's what I meant.
scooters.
Yeah.
That would be really intense and just ridiculous.
Exactly. So it's kind of ridiculous that we're offering people a medical service here, and then we're making them work so hard for it when they're already so debilitated. You know, how many loopholes do they have to jump through? But it's nice. This is good news. You know, another dispensary opening means more access for New Jersey. Hopefully, and in Woodbridge, something about Woodbridge, sends a shock through my synapses because I remember it in the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast. Like they've talked about Woodbridge. I think that's where they have.
Is that why you laughed?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they have the what do you call them? Flea markets?
The flea
in
markets.
Woodbridge.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're at, and it's funny that a dispensary is going to open there because it's like the flea markets are described as like really low rent people, like I don't want to. I was going to say the scum of the earth. That's
Baby,
really
you're
harsh,
making
but
this, really either racist or
that's not racist
or prejudice, I guess.
I mean,
you sound privileged.
No, it's just I'm speaking like from an opinion I heard from a New Jersey person. And the perspective that they got. I mean, they literally did a podcast where they went to Woodbridge and they toured the flea markets. And you got to taste, like, the local culture. Yeah.
We have those here, baby.
I know. I'm just saying that they're putting a dispensary in that part of the town. It's interesting. Not like the city, not like, you know, maybe the suburbs, or like
don't
a little away
from
the
suburbs.
Like the burbs.
Please don't ever.
You know, like they're putting it in the fucking like the trailer park area. Yeah. Or maybe I'm gonna get like a rush of tweets from people living in Woodbridge.
Well, you know what
are like, I live in a mansion. Excuse me, sir.
I feel like it's gonna be kind of like where Cartman yells at Kenny, like, "God damn it, Kenny! God damn it!" Like he's like angry at Kenny for having the privilege of having that nearby or something like that. I mean, it's out of Cartman's range, but I feel it's also within Cartman's range. Not because he's a child, but just because he fucking hates Kenny, and he's a reason to yell at Kenny.
And it's fucking poverty.
Kenny. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Well, yeah, there was a whole episode about that where Kenny had privilege because he was poor, and then Cartman...
he didn't have to pay for food or something.
Yeah, and Cartman was like, why can't I be poor and stupid? I forget the whole... Yeah.
Telling you. Oh, this is disgusting.
This was a pretty funny article. Like, I woke up to this and I was like, am I reading this right? And they even had a picture, and the picture is like perfect if you want to follow along. I forgot to mention that. If you want to follow along, check out the podcast post. I post all the news there. Or go to blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/news, or hit the news button on the sidebar. But a Wendy's employee. You want to read this one?
Wendy's employee serves marijuana burger, gets arrested, fired. This is brought to us by TMZ, the glorified news network. Gives a whole new meaning to the phrase burger joint. TMZ has learned a Wendy's employee was arrested last month in Georgia after allegedly making a cheeseburger with one crazy off-the-menu ingredient, marijuana. According to the is it literally called Lovejoy?
Yep.
Police Department, 32-year-old Amy Sieber was busted during her shift on November 1st after a customer called 911 complaining she had found a half-smoked blunt in her cheeseburger.
A half-smoked? Don't roll over that. Like, that was the whole thing right there. A half-smoked blunt in her cheeseburger.
It kind of almost doesn't look like a blunt there.
What? That is you know what? I can even tell you what type of blunt that is. Alright? I'm gonna pull some fucking BSI right here. Alright? That is a fucking, what are they called? The, blunt wraps. So it's actually a non-leaf, blunt. It's literally just the blunt paper. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's literally the blunt paper. Like, yeah, like a half-smoked blunt. Can you imagine, like, the smell of, like, that, you know, once a roach is put out, it starts, like, getting that roach effect.
Like a
that,
funk.
like, pungent, you know, like, even if you smoke cigarettes, you know, like, you can't keep a put-out cigarette with you, or it'll have just this cloud of just
That's why they throw them outside of cars. They
Fun.
can't leave them in the car.
Yeah. So imagine that coalescing with your fucking food, dude. That's crazy. I mean, like when they first said, you know, that they had the burger with marijuana, I literally thought that she was trying to like pull off like a deal, and she put like the weed, like the baggie, like in the burger, or like literally put like weed in the burger, and that was like a weird request, and it went wrong or something. But that's just like unacceptable. That's just like, even as a stoner, if I got that, I wouldn't even be able to laugh at. Well, I mean, I would be able to laugh at it, but I would be like, this is really disgusting. Like, yeah. But man, how chill was that Wendy's where she was smoking a fucking blunt? Well, I guess not that chill because she had to ditch it, but yeah. TMZ bringing us the most quality news constantly.
Yeah.
Just a quickie. From the New York Times, this happened the other day, December 6th.
Well, this is not from the New York Times. This is reported to us from Normal. But they're referencing a New York Times article.
Yeah. It actually happened on December 5th. The prohibition was finally repealed on alcohol.
80 years ago today, or December 4th. December 5th, yeah.
It was pretty crazy. Like, I can't imagine, like, how long this prohibition will last, or how it will end. You know, like, this really...
Wasn't American Prohibition only, like, 13 months or something?
What? American Prohibition? What are you talking about?
I don't remember how long it lasted.
Alcohol? You mean alcohol
prohibition?
Alcohol prohibition lasted 13 years.
Oh, 13 years, not months. Oops.
Yeah.
Damn.
So...
That's close.
We've been on cannabis prohibition for over 75 years now. It's probably 76 now. So it's pretty crazy.
It's amazing what people can decide to live without.
Yeah. I'll talk about this a little later. Let me write this down in the notepad. I had a discussion on an earlier podcast about words and how they impact, like, culture and how they limit us and how they are used as tools to control. And this was a really good example of that. I mean, well, cannabis prohibition, you know. This article specifically was just really refreshing to see just how quick of a turnover that was. You know, I guess more people maybe drink.
That's what I was saying. They choose. They're like, what should we give up? I'd rather not give up drinking.
Yeah. Well, weed. I don't think weed was illegal at that time. Weed became illegal in 1937. So that was post-alcohol prohibition. So after they...
No, it's not post.
37
was on this, a few years.
They ratified the
it
amendment that ended it
okay.
in 33. Yeah.
Interesting.
So 4 years later, they're like, we got to ban something else. Pick the pot. And they picked the pot. Well, actually, they didn't pick the pot. They picked, like, the pot, and they grouped it in with the heroin and the everything else. With the fucking international drug treaty. We'll have to have a whole discussion. We'll have to have a whole podcast on that. That's a fascinating thing that is limiting the legalization movement on a federal level that a lot of people don't realize. My foot's falling asleep. Oh, man. I listened to a fascinating podcast on the Nerdist channel with Rodney King.
All you ever talk about is the Nerdist podcast.
All you ever talk about is Chris Hardwick anymore. Why don't you ever love me anymore? Like, do you just imagine Chris Hardwick when you kiss me? I'm kidding. I love you.
Don't try to remedy it.
But yeah, I was listening to the Nerdist podcast with Rodney King, and is Rodney King? That's not the boxer, right? The guy who talks.
Rodney King. That should be Rodney King.
That's... No. Yeah. I feel like... No, Rodney King is a boxer.
On CNN. Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Okay. Yeah.
Larry King.
Larry King. There you go.
Why isn't my typing?
That happens to me all the time. I don't know why that happens. But Larry King was on the podcast, and he is a famous radio host.
Well, he's just a famous host in general.
Yeah. And it was fascinating to hear his hosting philosophy as an up-and-coming podcaster and things like that. Or just like, I just enjoy speaking. And, he's a person who's, a professional speaker. He's paid to speak to other people, paid to interview people. So it was fascinating just to see how laid back he was. He was just almost so stonery about it. He was just like, I just talk to people. I just, the first day on the job, my boss saw that I was silent for a couple minutes, and he yelled at me and he said, "Larry, what are you doing? Start talking." And that's what I did. I started talking.
Are you fucking serious?
Like that's the type of philosophy he drops, and there's something like charming about that, as like simplistic and oversimplified, maybe as it may be. I forget why I brought that up. I was going to correspond it with something. Missouri marijuana legalization initiatives filed. This comes to us from Stop the Drug War. Activists with Show Me Cannabis Reform have been crisscrossing Missouri to lay the groundwork for marijuana legalization, and now they've taken the next step. Columbia-based attorney Dan Vietz, the group chairman Wednesday, filed a series of initiatives that would legalize marijuana via a constitutional amendment. The initiatives are all variations on a theme. All would legalize marijuana for persons 21 and over, but vary on the number of plants allowed to be grown, whether convictions of previous offenders should be expunged, and how to regulate advertising. Show Me Cannabis Reform will do polling to see which has the most support among Missourians. The initiative petitions must be approved by the Secretary of State's office, and after that, the office has 10 days to approve the draft ballot summary language. Even if approved, initiative supporters face a daunting task. To qualify for the ballot, organizers must collect the signatures of roughly 320,000 registered voters by May 4th, and they must gather signatures from at least 8% of registered voters in 6 of the state's 8 U.S. congressional districts. Interesting. That's an interesting caveat. Blah, blah, blah. People support weed. This is an interesting choice. We see a lot of the times with these ballot initiatives that, this is the most key portion, actually, of the whole process, because if you write a poor draft, it's going to reach, the Supreme Court, and they're just going to turn it down. And we're going to talk about that later, actually. So, for them to leave it up to public support is interesting. Because honestly, the people are going to support the one that's most lenient. And what needs to happen is it needs to be something that not necessarily the public supports, but the public takes, because they're still going to get weed. And that's what's been happening in like every other state. We've had caveats that we don't necessarily support 100%, like a fucking 0.5 nanogram limit, or 5 nanogram limit rather, on driving, DUID and shit, or child safety labels, which we'll talk about later.
What won't we talk about later?
I don't know.
You say, you say we'll
talk
about that later.
We'll talk about that later, and then I'll forget. So we probably won't talk about it later. So hopefully you remember.
Okay.
But, yeah. What was I just saying? I lost my track. But basically, they're leaving it up to the public, and what they need to do is just force feed the public, what is best, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. Hopefully, the ballot just gets approved. Really, 320,000 is not a lot. Recently in Florida, they had, I think it's...
Oh, it was like a crazy number.
700,000 plus they had to get for their ballot initiative. And that's fucking Florida. I feel like, how big is Missouri? Like, it's about the same size, just condensed into, like, a space.
Wait.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we need to like overlay them on Photoshop or something, or yeah, just do the population. That's a good point. The Missouri population. The Florida population is 19 million, and wow, there's only 6 million people in Missouri. That's crazy. How is Florida so populated? I mean, it's not that bigger.
And they have swamp. And, like, half their state isn't even fucking inhabited. It's all, like, in fucking South Florida, and then, like, in the Panhandle.
That's so weird. Well, then I wonder how Missouri is. Missouri must be, like, scattered rural villages. Oh my god,
okay, think about it. We had to get 70, or 700,000. That was, like, less proportionate than Missouri. Missouri had way more than Florida. If you think about it, Missouri had to get, like...
Proportionally, yeah, that is right. That is very true. And looking at a map, there's a lot of, like, empty spots in Missouri here.
I'm telling you.
And the cities are pretty sparse and small. It's very reminiscent of Colorado.
They have Lebanon.
Yeah, Lebanon and Missouri.
It's really large.
If you want some...
And, like, Kansas City's right on
Joplin, Missouri. What's up? What?
They have a, Kansas City, it's like right on the edge of Missouri. Like, it's funny, it's not like in the middle. I guess Wichita, Kansas can totally be in the center. But, yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah, good to know. Yeah, I feel like, I don't really know.
So judgmental.
Yeah, like, I don't really know, populations and things like that of the U.S., because just recently, you know, I came to terms with the fact of how big the U.S. truly is. I saw the U.S. overlaid over, like, Europe. And it really put into perspective just how much space we truly have.
How much stuff fits in just Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty intense. So when we're so spread out, you know, it kind of doesn't surprise me anymore. It just surprised me which states are. You know, like I never know. Because recently people have been talking mad shit about Missouri. On the Greg Proops podcast, I think it was like a running joke for
Well, Greg Proops, he like ranks on everybody.
About everybody. Yeah, that's a good point. Michigan bills would allow medical marijuana dispensaries, edibles, the court prohibited. Lansing, Michigan, from Michigan Live. Michigan's medical marijuana law would be updated to allow for dispensaries and edible products under legislation debated Thursday in a state house committee. Legal experts who testified in support of the bills said they are appropriate responses to recent court decisions that limited to voter-approved law, and patients argued that they needed easier access to various forms of the drug. Yeah, dispensaries have been a huge contention in Michigan. It's just been like access has been very hard to get. You know, people have just been growing it and becoming caretakers, and you know there are only just so many caretakers. You know, like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we just have a store where we go and, yeah. Like, why do I have to go to some dude's house?
Man, Michigan sounds so tough to live in.
Yeah. So, House Bill 4271, sponsored by State Representative Mike Calton, Republican from Nashville, would let communities decide whether they want to allow dispensaries. Medical marijuana storefronts had operated in Michigan until a February ruling by state Supreme Court forced them to close. Yeah, that was some serious shit. That was some serious shit. A lot of pissed off people, and I followed a lot of growers that just went out of not went out of business, but they changed business. Let's just say. Local control will allow cities, townships, and villages to regulate the level they feel most comfortable with, Calton said in a testimony before the House Judiciary Committee. And for those communities who feel it isn't appropriate, it allows them to opt out altogether. Under Calton's bill, municipalities also could require dispensaries to test their medical marijuana for quality, purity, and contaminants, or contract with a safety compliance facility to do so. Patients would be prohibited from using the drug on premises. So of course, they have to have drug testing, you know, it's not required, but it could also require it, which seems to be like a standard that's becoming set for like everything.
And a lot of places are like, can we, I think they might, especially things like contaminants.
See, the problem is with all this testing is all these politicians are pushing for testing, and what they don't realize is there actually isn't a regulated testing market out there. So what you're doing is you're forcing these dispensaries to go out and get testing, and then they go to these. Well, I'm telling it's the people who might not know.
Sorry.
I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at the people who don't know and need to know the truth. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. So the politicians, they force these regulations that, requires these dispensaries to get testing, and then they go to these testing facilities where it's just people who just open up a truck and they kind of have like a small chemistry kit and do a few things, and they pump out a few imaginary numbers, and they give them to you, and there you go. Like there isn't really a true standard that is safe for everybody out there. Like people, the main thing right now out there is THC content. People say 80% this, 90% that, 99% this. Bullshit. Like, there are probably like one or two testing facilities out there that are actually providing slightly accurate results. And then everyone else is just like, going off of, what they do is they'll take the highest sample of THC they can find and call that 100%. And then everything else becomes a baseline on that. So it's grading your cannabis on a curve. It's fucking retarded. So we throw these dispensaries to these testing facilities. We make them pay all of this money for results that don't really matter at the end of the day. Maybe the mold results might be like, fairly accurate. But stuff like THC, that's bullshit. And what else was it? And quality, purity. I guess like testing for like residual minerals and things like that. I'm not too savvy on that side.
Still sounds like bullshit to me.
So it's a lot of bullshit. But it is a standard that should be set. We see it with food. We see it with a lot of, basically everything that gets consumed by people. We want it tested and made sure that it's safe. I'm pretty sure that cigarettes are like, you can't have mold on a cigarette, like there are standards set like that. Maybe, it is a little ridiculous. They don't have standards where like, let's say, like a pharmacy has to look at every pack of cigarettes for mold, or like send the packs to like a testing facility. But then again, I'm sure the company maybe sends them like a certification letter. I don't know how that works. Yeah. But good news for Michigan. Make sure you guys keep an eye on House Bill 4271, and make sure that you guys support Representative Mike Calton. This was like a kind of joint article here. The number of children on medical marijuana patient registry surges in Colorado. This comes to us from the Huffington Post. I'm not actually going to read it, but basically the number went from 30, the number went up to 90 from 60. So that it surged incredibly, and I guarantee it's up to the now resounding just not revival, like the consciousness drawn to CBD, thanks to the Sanjay Gupta documentary, thanks to the American Weed people, that they're really pumping their Charlotte's Web out there.
Man, that poor kid.
A lot of, yeah, we talked about some bad news last week.
So the second half of this joint article comes to us from ChewNewJersey.com or NJ.com, Chew New Jersey. FDA-approved medical marijuana clinical trial gets underway next month for kids with epilepsy. Oof. You can continue.
This was written by Susan K. Livio. A nationally renowned pediatric neurologist at the St. Barnabas has gotten FDA approval to study whether a cannabis-based drug could prevent seizures in children diagnosed with severe forms of epilepsy. The development is sure to be watched closely in New Jersey, where a number of families whose children have Dravet syndrome, a potentially deadly form of epilepsy, say they cannot obtain yet a useful form of medicinal marijuana through the State Department of Health. Recently, New Jersey actually passed a law where they allow people to go to Colorado, California, anywhere where there's medical marijuana, and actually bring back this CBD medicine. But it's known that Christie has been fighting it the whole way, the governor of New Jersey. There's a lot of shit in New Jersey, and these poor kids with Dravet syndrome are suffering. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave Orrin Devinsky, director of the New York University in St. Barnabas Comprehensive Epilepsy Center, Roberta Cilio of the University of California, San Francisco's Neurology Department, and GW Pharmaceuticals of the United Kingdom. Let me stop here for a second. GW Pharmaceuticals of the UK, if you don't know them, they are notoriously known for producing the synthetic form of THC that is popularly sold and marketed by doctors who say, like, why do we need, medical marijuana? Why do you need to smoke this plant or, like, get concentrates from this plant when we can synthesize this already? It's already out there. And GW has been producing Marinol, I believe it is, or Sativex, one of the two. Can you verify that for me? But they've been producing this drug that just look up Sativex, and it should say it.
I don't know how to spell that.
Sativx. Yep. Nabiximols, which is also known as Sativex, is developed by GW Pharmaceuticals. Can you also look up Marinol? I think it's also produced by them. Marinol is just like, I guess, produced by everybody. Okay, so Sativex is their drug. And Sativex is a THC synthetic derivative of cannabis. And it's you take it by mouth, and it's given to people who have multiple sclerosis.
Alleviate neurological pain, spasticity, overactive bladder, and other symptoms.
Basically, MS people are the ones who are taking this the most. And when they take it, they actually get more sick, and they don't see the kind of results that they see from actually just literally smoking a fucking joint. It's crazy.
12% of patients stopped taking the drug because of the side effects. 25% were dizzy, 8% drowsy, and 4% disorientated. It's ridiculous.
Yep. So the doctors are pushing this drug on people, saying that it's the ultimate cure, that why do we need cannabis, when cannabis, is doing a way better job than this. Way more organic, way easier to get. You're literally just growing it out of the ground. You don't have to go through this huge pharmaceutical company. It's a little ridiculous. So GW Pharmaceutical, there you go. They're part of this project, of course. They're always part of these FDA trials because they're the people who basically only get the licenses to produce these drugs. I'm sorry, I had to really rant about that.
No, it's fine. I thought that was a really excellent key-in because I didn't know about that. So thank you.
So GW Pharmaceutical and these other two scientists are using the permission to use the experimental drug Epidiolex to treat 125 children with seizure disorders for whom traditional medicines have failed. Enrollment in the trial will begin next month, Devinsky said. I think this is a big step forward in the science of cannabinoids, said Devinsky, referring to the spectrum of active ingredients in marijuana.
That's not cannabinoids, is it?
Yeah, that's the active ingredients of marijuana, quote unquote.
The spelling.
Terpenes and things like that, yeah, but those aren't active. I mean, those are synergetic with the cannabinoids, but if you were just to smoke a terpene, you wouldn't get high. You have to smoke a terpene and like a THC molecule or CBD molecule. We will finally get some data on epilepsy, which is interesting because I thought there would be a shitload of data. Well, then again, not really, because if you think about it, epilepsy for a while was like people thought you were possessed and you were like being like possessed by a witch and they would like drown you or burn you for a long time. So I'm not really surprised that the science is just now catching up. But this should be able to provide...
It's just hard to, like, monitor somebody to have epileptic seizures because it can't last too long or you'll end up killing somebody.
That too. Yeah, I'm sure, like, as the technology and the things get better, it becomes easier to monitor. But basically, it provides a double-blind placebo test for CBD medicine on epilepsy, which is what we truly want. The drug is a liquid form of pure cannabidiol, CBD, a non-psychoactive component of the cannabis plant that, according to anecdotal reports, has shown to reduce the frequency and intensity of seizures in children. The FDA's November 15th approval also gives Epidiolex orphan drug status, providing GW full marketing rights to be the lone producer of the product for 7 years, the company said in a statement.
You said the word orphan like somebody from, like, London.
Orphan.
Yeah.
It's an orphan drug. But there you go. GW.
I know, baby. Calm down.
Monopolizing.
Monopolizing.
Fucking taking a shit all over the cannabis people, man, and saying fuck you to the growers. It's crazy. But this is good news. Finally, FDA approval for a, cannabis drug that may be able to help these children. Maybe they'll be able to get it, in other states, where they don't have to rely. Right now, I think did they mention it in this article? No, they do not. But right now, the people from American Weed, the Stanley brothers, are developing a high CBD strain, or they have been developing, and it is developed, and I'm sure still developing. It's called Charlotte's Web, and it's one of the top CBD strains out there right now, and it's actually the one that a lot of children with Dravet syndrome are going out of state and getting. And a lot of people, that's why a lot of people are flooding to Colorado. That's where the Stanley brothers are, and where they can actually get this medicine. So, what was my point with that? With the Stanley brothers? It's nice because I'm sure that they'll actually. I remember reading it somewhere that they'll actually they may help provide the strain for the company. Because CBD strains are still a little hard to find because we've been developing high THC strains for countless of years now. And, just recently have we started to develop CBD strains. So yeah, man, that was a long news session, yo.
You think so?
Yeah, I hope we're still recording, yeah. 40 minutes? We usually do the news for like
40 minutes?
30 minutes. Yeah.
Really? It's been 40 minutes?
It's been almost 50 minutes, yeah. I know. Don't let them know. They were like, wow, this podcast has felt like only 5 minutes. It's been going by really quickly. I'm enjoying this so much. Okay. So yeah, let's talk some Weed Porn Daily news real quick, get it out of the way. As always, if you want to follow along with the Weed Porn Daily sphere of things, all the developments, all the
actual people behind the website.
The people behind the website, literally our pot porn that we post, our videos, anything you want to find.
The process of which we use to bring you the news.
Yeah, kind of. Check out the WPD tag. Or I think you can just hit WPD on the sidebar, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Try it out. Take a risk. But yeah, Hempwick sales. Recently it was Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, whatever, and we had a record, to say the least, number of Hempwick sales. Just yesterday I shipped out 26 or 27 packages, and that was just like a third of the orders. I still have to ship out maybe 30 plus more tomorrow, and then maybe another 10 or 20 in a couple of days when we actually restock on some more hemp. We actually bought out all the local hemp distributors, and we had to resort to buying the hemp online and get it what is it? Like non-locally sourced? Domestically sourced, I guess.
Online sourced.
Yeah. Also tried a new wax as well. I had to order like a massive amount of wax, and I was like, let me take a jump and order like a good different bulk brand of wax and hope that it works out. And I fucking thank God it did. And honestly, I find that it's better than the last one I used. I used to use cosmetic grade wax from a very specific company, and I switched to craft grade from another company. And literally, the only difference I found is there's more of an aroma to the one that I bought.
The difference between craft and the cosmetic is that cosmetic, they don't want it to smell because they want to insert their own smells. So they don't want to create something that's too heavy, because then it like kind of ruins the effect of the delicateness.
Yeah. They also filter it more.
Cosmetics.
Like they make sure that there's no like slight little debris or anything in there, I think.
The only debris would be really is the hemp.
Yeah.
So nobody is inhaling anything wrong, just hemp.
Well, what happens is when I actually boil down the beeswax, all the debris falls to the bottom, and I get to scrape it out. It's very convenient. Yeah. So even if there was anything in it, it gets pulled out of the process. So yeah, the new wax worked out really well. It has like a new smell to it. So the wicks, like they don't like smell as much as the like bricks of wax, but they have a slight different aroma to them. It's nice. And the wax is actually, I feel, slightly more like heat resistant. Like I would notice that if you had like maybe like a little clump of wax on the wick before and you burned it, it would turn very oily very quickly. And with this wax, it doesn't do that as much. It's nice. It has a little more body. Yeah, so fucking sick. I've made over like 8,000, 9,000 plus feet of hemp wick in the past week, and it's been fucking crazy. My hands are cut up and burned, and I'm loving it. It's so great. Thank you guys. I really appreciate all the support. Make sure to go to WeedPornDaily.com/shop and buy some wicks, man. It's been really nice with the new shop that I installed. People have been actually buying like wicks and then like picking up like a stick or two. Since it's not just like a one-click buy, they can actually like create a cart and accumulate like some products. I actually had one guy buy like 6 wicks. I was like, damn, I know you're reselling them, and I love it. I love it. Buy some more. Like, very nice.
So cute.
But yeah, it's been going really good. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry if you guys have been waiting on any orders. I've been getting like a message or two from some impatient people saying like, yo, where's my wick? Yo, what's up, dog? Yo. And yeah, just wait.
He's working every single day doing this. It's
shipping out some every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Thousands of feet per day. I'm sure the post office must think I'm some new terrorist.
Yeah, like you're shipping something you shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, it's been good. I was thinking about buying something from the Society 6 shop with the sale going on. Like the sales are so good, like even my poor ass can finally afford something, like, and not feel too bad about it.
Yeah, I really want one of those tote bags, because today would be the perfect day. We still have a couple hours for that left. I know that this podcast won't come out till like later, but I really want either the one that's the every stoner, the black hemp seed one. I love that one. Or cannabis seed. The cannabis seed one. The one that's all black.
Oh, the happiness. The cannabis seed, yeah.
I really like that one.
Happiness. What is the fuck? I made it and I don't even remember. It's like every stoner's secret.
Yes.
Is in a seed or something.
Yeah, happiness. Yeah, something like that.
Something. It's a nice, like, classy, low-key design that you might not necessarily know is cannabis.
Yeah.
influence from alcohol designs, like classic whiskey-esque.
Or I was really interested in getting the mushroom one too, because it's like a off gray color. It's not necessarily white, because I hate white tote bags. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad buying white anything. It's hard to really upkeep that. Yeah, especially as like an artist or like someone who deals with like a lot of dirty things.
Just like carrying around in public transit, taking the train and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'm thinking about waiting until I know they're gonna have like a T-shirt sale later in the week, and I would be down to like maybe get a T-shirt or a hoodie. I would be so down to get like a cannabis hoodie.
Not if I buy it for you.
That's like an investment to make. It's gonna be a race. Like
I'm gonna have to find out which one you want.
Yep. I haven't even mentioned it yet.
I hate you.
Or whether I want like a front or a back print, or whether I want the zip up or like the whatever the.
You always like the zip ups. What are you talking about?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I have a different preference for cannabis.
Oh, because you want to obscure any kind of designs or patterns.
Who knows? Or maybe I want to open it up to show like the T-shirt underneath because I want to like dual design.
I hate you so much.
But yeah, I like to like I feel bad because I see when a lot of companies they have products and stuff, they're always like they have like the products on hand and they model them, they take pictures of them and things like that. And for me, like it took me like months to finally get a physical copy of the Badass book, and that was like a mistake. That wasn't even on purpose. So it would be nice to get some real Society 6 products and get some photos of them.
Do some pinup with them.
Yeah. Well, how would you guys like a nude Grouch and just like a hoodie with like my fat ass peeking out of the back?
No.
No?
No.
I know, when I call it a fat ass, it's not that attractive. Maybe it is to some people. I don't know.
You've been getting a lot of new Bara.
Yeah.
Followers.
It's interesting, yeah. How many of the Baras want to smoke with me, or Bara lovers? Like, I wonder if they think of me as a Bara?
No,
or
you're
like,
not a Bara.
I'm definitely not a Bara.
You're like...
I'm like a cub.
You're not even a cub because you're too skinny. You're like an otter.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'm like an otter.
Like slick and hairy. Like thin. What?
I'm like I don't know. I'm like a dirty hippie.
You're not a dirty... You've been a dirty hippie before, but not right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to prevent that. Which means you need a haircut before
soon.
The holidays.
Yeah. We're going to Disney soon.
Oh, I didn't know if you were going to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to Disney. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, it's all on my bill.
It's a hell of a trip. Yeah, I'm glad you're... It was like a surprise trip. She's like, I just want to go to Disney. I'll pay for everything. Just a couple of days. I'm like, sure. Yeah, well, done. I got nothing to do.
Yeah, I had been toying with the plan for over a year now. Last time we tried scheduling a plan was around this time for March. And then now it's like progressed to the point where it was like I was reading to October, November, December.
Yeah, it was like catching up with you, yeah.
It was like, you gotta do this, it's gonna happen. And I had to do it, yeah. I had like a sale on a hotel room and everything, and I have friends that work there. So we should be okay. I didn't know we were gonna mention this.
Yeah.
Basic corresponds. It just so happened, like, I didn't even plan it. The trip to correspond on the end of the Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like terrible news.
That was like awful news.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so sad.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
I feel so awful about it.
I've jumped off that ship already. I've abandoned that ship. I'm just literally like learning from my mistakes at this point and waiting to... Like, I'm planning my next plan of attack. Like, I'm not sure if I want to try to print the book on my own. Later when I like go to the cup on my own dime and like accrue stuff and whatever, like it'll just happen naturally. Well, like I just plan eventually on going to the cup. Like I have to as a business person with WeedPornDaily, and just 'cause it'll be cool, like as a experience. But I'll try to take that, or I was thinking about maybe contacting High Times and being like, hey, this could be like a really good advertisement opportunity for you. Like I'm literally writing a book about you. I'm an online presence. I could create like a flurry.
What if High Times just sees you as a joke and they ask you, why do we need your help?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm like, do I really want to approach High Times? What are they, like...
They laugh in your face and pretty soon...
I don't give a fuck if they laugh in my face, because I laugh in their face for how fucked up they are and fucking... Like, go listen to a free weed podcast and tell me if you still respect High Times. Like, go, like, look at any of their, like, what was it, the High Times humor videos that they tried to release, and tell me that they have any fucking opinion that matters, or that they have some fucking artistic integrity that is so greater than mine. Go suck a fat cock. You know, like, yeah. So I really don't care. I mean, I'll approach them as a business. It's like a business thing. Like, literally, like, it's like a huge advertising thing for High Times in the Cup. And, you know, it's not going to cost you guys anything. Literally, you just have to pimp a Kickstarter or something, crowdfunding event. And it's like something like new and social media-y for High Times, like that they don't do. Things like that. I don't know. Just pitching it and things like that. And we'll see. I have a lot of other projects that I want to pick up. Like, I abandoned the cannabis children's book that I wanted to do. That's something that I can just do and, just self-publish, yeah, and not necessarily, it doesn't take massive resources. But yeah. But Disney. I fucking went on a tangent here.
Sorry.
You know, we'll be going to Disney, like, before the Kickstarter ends and...
No, it's right when the Kickstarter ends.
Basically, yeah, like...
Our day at the park is going to be the day the Kickstarter ends.
Mm.
So if anybody wants to plan on meeting us at the park, you guys have basically a clear understanding when we're going to be there.
Basically, yeah. Or you don't know which park we're going to. We didn't mention, like, World or Land.
Did
yet.
we?
No, we didn't say yet.
Oh.
I was very, very vague, very specifically. Like, they don't need to know. Like, yeah. Because I feel like we would have fans. They would just approach us at Disney.
Apparently not, because every time that I tweet that I was in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Minnesota for a weekend. Nothing. I was in Louisiana for a weekend. Nothing. I tweeted about it. No, tweeted. I Instagrammed about it on the main Instagram. I mean, where else am I going to post? Did you post any of them on the website? Because that's not my responsibility.
Actually, yeah, I didn't actually post them on the website.
You should have.
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
I was doing my part. I was doing my job.
It totally slipped. Like that kind of shit. Like, there have been so many times where I'll post like a bong rip on your iPhone 5, and I just don't even post it on the website because I just forget. Yeah.
Baby, I miss you, but I'm not gonna pay attention to you on Tumblr.
Cute. Busy making wicks, baby. I'm running a business here, baby. I'm trying to put a roof over your head, baby.
Don't you dare say something like that. Put a
She's
roof over my head.
How dare you? You try and build one of your hemp roofs over my head. See if it supports me.
See if it pass building code.
See if hemp is waterproof. Yeah. I wanted to touch upon.
That'd be sick though if we got weed for Disney though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say that I don't want to say anything now because that's like not incriminating, but that's like setting us up for like cops or something, like bad people, you know. But if it's like spontaneous and we just tweet like, "Hey, we're at Disney right now," and you guys happen to be in the area, that would be cool if you saw us.
No, not necessarily. I'm just saying before we go.
What do you mean? Oh. What? You want to smoke weed before I'm smoking mad weed all up until we travel. I'm gonna be a little baked potato in the car. Like, I hope you don't need me to navigate too much because I'm just gonna be like I'm gonna be a glazed donut. I'm just gonna be
glazed donut.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be
baked potato.
Yeah. Just me, you, and Greg Proops.
I had to listen to Greg Proops on the way there.
No, I don't know. No. We can listen to some music or something.
I've given you the responsibility to get me 3 CDs.
3?
And I have not seen 3 over the past, over 6 months now.
Yeah, I have a hard time finding music.
I am telling you exactly what I want. There's no, difficulty.
You don't tell me exactly. It's not like you're writing me out a playlist.
Get me the new Pokemon CD that just came out. It's like 5 discs in one. It hasn't come
out yet.
Baby, it came out all together in one set for like $14 or something on Pokemon, or $10 on iTunes.
It hasn't come out legally yet, so I haven't obtained it.
No, because I heard almost more than 80% of it off of fucking Tumblr.
It's already out yet?
Yes.
It's out on Amazon and everywhere? Really? I haven't seen it. I Googled it, and I didn't find any evidence of it.
And then the Streetlight Manifesto discography.
You wanted that burned? Really?
Yes, I did.
I thought you had that, and you complained that I even put it on the CD.
No, I said I wanted it.
Okay. I said that's doable.
Well, no, I complained that you put the same Streetlight Manifesto CD you put in the past 4 mixtapes. You're like, this is my token Streetlight Manifesto song, and then you just keep putting it in. You don't put any other ones.
It's the only ones that I have in my iTunes.
That's what I'm saying.
So I just drag them in. I'm like, oh, she likes Sublime, right? I should put the same Sublime song.
That's what you said in the last
Smoke 2 joints, right? Right?
Nothing else, apparently.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
I guess. I'll get on. I've really been slacking with the music. I have to do a search for original music for WeedPornDaily TV, because I've really been struggling with the copyright shit. And I just need new music, period. I've just been listening to podcasts and Doctor Who audio dramas.
I cannot
nonstop.
Listen to audio dramas.
Oh my god, we can please can we do that?
If I can listen to Welcome to Night Vale.
Lucy Miller, some really thick fucking is she Scottish or she's Irish?
Can we listen to some Welcome to Night Vale sprinkled throughout?
Oh, come on. Maybe sprinkled throughout. Or simultaneously. So it's some
Maybe you have years of audio dramas that you can refer to. Welcome to Night Vale is only 2 years old, and I only want to listen to the next.
I literally
3.
only have 30 audio dramas. I milk them. I make them last.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not even joking. There's only 3 seasons, and I take them very slowly.
Oh man.
I literally listen to it at half speed. Because they're only 30 minutes long. I make it an hour long. It's, yeah.
Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. Well, I only want to listen to the most recent 2 Welcome to Night Vales, and Welcome to Night Vale is 22 minutes each or something.
I don't mind. I'll smoke a blunt or something.
It's a long drive, so we'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be a long drive.
Just Welcome to Night Vale is it's got some weird ambiance. It'll depend on how.
I don't understand why you have such strange vibes from the show.
Well, it's because
you don't even try to listen to it.
Well, it's I try to apply logic to it, and then I'm okay, it's obviously some dystopian weird world.
Literally somebody just there's a very famous, I don't know if it's a Vine or a video, and it's a girl, and they're asking questions to the creator of Welcome to Night Vale, the 2 writers, and one girl, she just raised her hand, she goes, continuity, ? And they just start laughing at her. And it's approached logically, they don't have continuity.
Well, that's even worse for me, because then I listen to it and I'm I don't know. I don't know. My humor, I love callbacks, so for you to constantly just be pulling new material and not building any foundation or building any world, I'm not interested, you're just, I don't know. I am that type of person that I'm an escapist. I need another world.
Drama.
To go into. Not necessarily even drama. I just need.
Well, you're causing drama. I thought that it's pretty interesting. I think so.
Welcome. I mean, there are millions of people that fucking think so too and subscribe. I'm just surprisingly not interested. It gives me when I hear it, I go back to when I used to read The Giver, and fucking.
What?
You remember The Giver?
No, I remember what The Giver is.
Yeah,
But what does that have to do with anything?
Well, it was a really dystopian book.
Yeah.
And it had a very when I read books, I always illustrate them in my mind, and I create worlds in my mind, and a lot of the worlds are just so vivid. I keep them. And that was one of them, and it was just, everything was black and white, and everything was, staunch, and how everything was set up, and that's how I imagine Night Vale. Just everything's just
Really?
but with like that, but like with taking a dark brush to it with some purple. Or something. I don't know.
Purple.
Yeah, but yeah.
I think the opposite. I mean, I think there are parts like the obsidian walls of the dog park, but then you also have like, I feel like you have like the university, so you have like college, and then you have like they have all these kinds of restaurants and things like that. I feel like and there's a lot of things with like flashing signs, neon RB signs, and things like that. I think it's a colorful. They have invisible peach fields or something. Or cornfields.
I mean, you say this shit to me, and like it means nothing to me. Because you can just say there are invisible peach fields, and I can just say that my cum, like, is fire and melts faces. And it, like, okay. Like, it means nothing.
You're being so, like, unnecessarily aggressive.
Well, it's just like I like logic to my stuff. You know, like, I love in Doctor Who when there's, like, something...
Don't tell me Doctor Who has logic. Mr.
Well,
I struggle to understand what Clara's fucking doing
obviously,
right now.
there are incredible plot holes, and it's very hard to write something for time, especially something spanning over such a long time. I can't believe I'm defending the writing so much, but just anything, you know, like just when something, like, they have, like, all these people, there are skeletons, or there's dust scattered everywhere on the planet. Why? You know, and they analyze it, and it's like, oh, because there were skeletons. Why were there skeletons? Because millions of years ago, there was, like, an extinction of this and that. Like, I like that kind of, like, backward shit. I like that kind of, like, reasoning. Like, you just can't say, like, there are invisible peaches. I'm like, why are there invisible peaches? Because a farmer actually, you know...
took the time and grew them.
And like, isolated this one strain. They were opaque for a little while, you know, 50%, you know, it was a scratchy process. You know, that's the stuff I'm interested in. Not just the drop, you know. I mean, it is, to some extent, you know, cool to drop. But that gets old very quickly when you're just dropping. Yeah. I don't know. I'm very, like, I have very refined taste in everything. That's why I come off so aggressive. Because I'm like, but wait, I know what's right. Like, I know what I like, and it's this. Yeah. Just shaking her head like,
I'm just thinking to myself, like, Jesus, I have to deal with you.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. And so does every dispensary that, like, they have to deal with my, like, snootiness. Like, I found really mold in my weed. Did we talk about that? I think we should talk about that.
No, but I thought you talked about it on a midi-cast, or no?
No, I haven't talked about it on a podcast.
Oh, dear.
I had moldy weed recently.
Thing.
I was, I was maybe like 5 bowls into the weed, and yeah, exactly. And I was doing a photo session shooting the weed, and we actually recently got 100-watt daylight CFL, like really nice clear lighting, and it's basically like the kind of lighting that you get in like a doctor's office or like a jeweler, or like if you would have like a giant LED flashlight, kinda.
This is like being in, like, a doctor's office.
A doctor's office is pretty good. If you would pull out nugs in a doctor's office, you would get some pretty good lighting on them. Even some dispensaries utilize this lighting to really showcase their product. But, we got this lighting, so it's really been brightening everything up. I can see everything super crystal clear. Yeah. So I pull out the nugs, I'm shooting them, and like maybe 10 shots in, I start seeing not huge, but like noticeable white patches in the nugs. And I'm like, wait a minute. These nugs are like not, that frosty. Like they're not so caked in trichomes that there would be just these random spots of like trichome clusters. So I grab a nug, I start, picking through it, I look at it, and I'm starting to see white patches everywhere that I didn't notice before. Everywhere. Especially on the fan leaves in particular. All the fan leaves had accumulated a powdery white substance on like the inside of it, like a spoon. It just scooped up the mold. It was crazy. So of course,
You went and returned it.
Well, no, like first I wanted to verify that, it was mold, this happens a lot, you get really frosty weed, it could could just be an accumulations of trichomes or something, whatever. Not really, because the weed was kind of wet and it smelled kind of funky already. So I took out my loop, which you guys should really invest in if you guys don't have one. A loop is basically just a little microscopic lens. It could either be on a microscope like setup, or you can just have what I have is like a what do you call it? Like a monocle? It's kind of like a monocle, and you just
it's
put
used
it.
by jewelers.
That's a really
jewelry.
exactly. It's used to like when they look at diamonds and stuff, but bigger. So I can put nugs under it. And I put a nug under it. I started looking. I could see all the trichome heads, and I got to the mold, and it was just this powdery, like very fine dust. And I was like, no. And I denied it. I went through the whole batch, and I picked out every single leaf that had mold on it, and I analyzed it, and I was like, maybe it's trichomes. No, it's mold. And I kept going, and I kept living in denial until like I went through the whole batch, picked out all of the like most moldy spots, and I was like, I can't. This is mold. I can't deny it anymore. And then I went to return it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. They didn't have experience with mold. It was kind of sad. Like I informed them about it, and they were like, oh, we went and we checked the jar again, and we couldn't find any trace of mold, and I was like, well, I'm clearly looking at some fucking mold here, and it didn't just magically sprout,
Overnight.
on the way home. Yeah, this isn't that type of mold. So I went back, I showed it to them. I showed it to them under the loop, to give them like an idea of what it looks like, and just tried to educate them. There's no reason that anyone who's, providing, this medicine to people should be giving out multi-medicine. That is just unacceptable. Just another example of why we need these regulations everywhere. That like there's no reason anyone should accidentally smoke moldy weed like I did.
Yeah, it's really scary.
That like I could have died, my lungs could have closed up, my lungs could have been had lower defenses, and then I could have inhaled like a pneumonia or something and then died from a pneumonia. Like it's bad news. Never smoke moldy weed.
You speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm
you
allergic to it.
Yeah, you're literally allergic. Like you wouldn't even have a fighting chance.
I would have no chance whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's near impossible.
So that was also scary. I had to inform them of that as well. I feel like people don't realize that people are allergic to mold. It isn't like a game. This is literally I've had peanut allergies. Like you don't just give peanuts to people; they will die.
It's like one thing that I've seen it very commonly where people are not allergic to just like peanuts or peanut butter, like eating it or ingesting it.
But the smell,
no,
too, or
the air.
Yeah, because it has the particles in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to open like a package of granola and it has like a peanut dust, and you introduce the dust into the atmosphere, people can inhale it, and then it's game over. That's it. You're done. So it's incredibly scary. You are really fucking responsible if you do that to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, there need to be standards in place just like with food, man. This is something that humans are consuming into our bodies. And in some cases it is made even into a food product. So it's like an ingredient for food. It should be treated as such. I'm really, like, I don't like to think of myself, I don't like to label myself, but if I would, I guess I would be like a liberal, maybe, or something, whatever. Like, I think, I don't like the government sticking its hands in shit. I think people with enough sense can manage themselves. But at the same time, I'm also a realist, and I realize that people are also assholes, and unless they have rules, they're gonna break them. Or, like, they're gonna, like, not abide by them,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, moldy weed sucks. Do not smoke it. Seriously, guys, it sucks.
No joke.
Yeah.
And don't endanger anybody else.
Yeah, please. So educate yourselves on mold. Like, if you don't know what it looks like, start looking at pictures of it. I was lucky enough to, like, I get not quote unquote lucky enough. But I got a first-hand example of powdery mildew, which I've never experienced before. You know, I've seen like green trichoderma plenty of times. You get that kind of mold on like fucking bread all the time. I'm not, like, if you guys have ever left bread out on a counter for too long, it turns moldy.
So if I've never seen that.
Yeah, if you see that on your weed, it's bad news, bro. To say the least. So yeah, moldy weed, fucking
horrible, disgusting.
I think that'll be it. We've been a little extra long podcast for today. I have had to pee since like the beginning.
Oh,
so it'll be
didn't
nice. No, it's fine. And I was like, I'll hold it, and I'll regret it.
Oh dear.
But thank you guys for listening. I always appreciate just listening. You don't even have to buy stuff. Just the fact that you want to sit down for 2 hours or an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it is and listen to us just babble and talk news and listen to the sultry sounds of my voice and the crackly tones it gets to sometimes.
Hey.
Yeah. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys especially for the wicks. Forget what I just said to the people who just listen. I love you guys way more who actually monetarily support. You guys pay for the food that goes into my fucking mouth. Like that's fantastic. I'm at this stage in my life where I'm just trying to create financial stability, and you guys are a incredible support of that. So I really appreciate that. WeedPornDaily.com/shop or shop.weedporndaily.com. Just buy anything with the Weed Porn Daily name on it. I'll love you guys forever. And yeah. That's about it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Miss Weed Porn Daily, for coming on. Again,
I'd love to be here.
Helps get rid of like the solo vibe, someone to bounce ideas off of and curb my rants.
Indeed. We should do a Disney podcast. We should
like
do a podcast at Disney.
Podcast from Disney, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Sure.
We'll try that out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Right?
So, stay tuned. We're going to try to do more regular podcasts. I'm going to try to do one at least once a week, like steady. Solo or like whoever I can get.
I'll be missing for 2 weeks.
I'll probably be podcasting a lot more in that case. Just the whole time, I miss her. I miss her so much. Day 23. I don't know what I'm going to do without her.
We should tell them soon where I'm going to be. No.
Soon. Okay, stay on Instagram, Gounger Grouch. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for buying. And, thank you guys for smoking, most importantly. God damn. Like, I can feel it from over here. I can smell it, brother. Stay regular, super stoners.
Good evening, or good night.